Pooja Chaudhary in Hum Aapke Hain Kaun had a lot to do. While those bhabis and those sisters were just somebody's sister, somebody's bhabhi, there was no character. Like, you know, हाँ बहन hero की बहन है, बहुत crucial है because she gets raped and then he kind of takes revenge. Some people used to think at that time that I'm very snobbish because I would say no to them. How could you say no to such a big producer or such a big director? The Me Too was very important because it was, if not anything else, that collective feeling of catharsis that a lot of women went through for what they had gone through maybe 10 years, 25 years. Like people say ki, why after 25 years? अरे आप बोलने कब देते हो? A woman actor who's, you know, kind of just asking simple questions about the character is looked down upon कि बहुत सवाल पूछती है. But if the man is asking the question, अरे कितना committed है ना? He's asking so many questions. He's like really driven. Like they would judge me because my parents were separated. कि इनके साथ मत खेलो, you know, because they come from a broken home. Even teachers, they were so nasty. Women themselves feel the need to be, you know, the voice that they want to be.
Hi everyone, this is Avinash Lohana and you're watching Pink Villa. There's nothing more empowering than being in the company of a woman who speaks her mind. Combine that with $1 million smile and you have our guest. Joining us on Woman Up Season 4 today is the supremely talented and extremely admired Renuka Shane. Hi ma'am.
Hi Avinash, how are you?
Very good, how are you?
I'm very well and thank you for having me.
Thank you for doing this with me. I know we've been trying this for a while.
I know.
And we're finally doing it, so thank you so much.
And I'm very glad.
Ma'am, the show is all about celebrating womanhood and I really want to say you've been in the business for more than 3 decades now.
That's right.
You've worked across mediums and you've worked across a lot of languages as well. However, I really want to start by asking you, what is the most challenging thing about being relevant for so many years and how do you achieve that over and over again?
I think the relevance comes with the fact that you keep up with the times, because times, especially in our medium, have changed so much. Like when television came, when I joined, like, I mean, when I started acting on television, it was a very nascent sort of, you know, project. Like, you know, TV was something that was feared by most academic parents. You know, so from my background, like my mom and, you know, she's very academically inclined and everybody in our family very good at studies and suddenly, you know, this thing opened up and in fact, in our house, television was not allowed. She didn't buy a television because she felt, oh my God, it could be quite a bad influence. So every new thing that happens in the media, every new change is something that one has to get used to and one should not allow it to dictate us. But we have to learn how to use it in the best possible way. So I think as actors, whether it's theatre, whether it's you know, television, whether it's the camera, whether it's digital now camera, all these spaces are places where we can hone our skills more and more and even behind the camera to keep learning about the processes. So that's what keeps you relevant, I think. If you decide that, oh no, you know, I can only work with celluloid, I can only act for celluloid, I prefer that, then you're going to be history, you're not going to keep up with the times. And an actor, you can, as an actor, be an actor forever. There is no cut-off date.
You
know,
That's
luckily for
amazing.
our profession. It's amazing. So why not just keep up with the times? Times are changing. One should be part of the, you know, process and learn new things. And learning itself keeps you updated, I think.
That's true. But what's the tough part about it?
I think the tough part is, you know, I think now especially dealing with the pressure of social media, definitely, because, you know, that's something that also seems to dictate what people want to see, you know, whether if you have these kind of followers, then you will be cast. Which is something completely new. And, you know, so for a person like me who is not a very public relations sort of oriented person or, you know, not into fashion, you know, or not interested that way, unfortunately. So my relevance in that field definitely is very, very low. and so that's been tough actually to adjust to. I think also for me to adjust to daily soaps was very, very frustrating. Because daily soaps came at a time when I had taken a backseat because I did want to spend time with my family,
Yes.
have kids, and you know, the works.
Yeah.
The weekly soaps just stopped after that, and I had thought that, you know, after a year or two, people will tire of daily soaps, and you know, we'll have a nice mix of
Yeah,
dailies as well as
yeah.
weeklies. That never happened.
Still
so
not
I
happened.
couldn't, unfortunately. I love television so much, but I just cannot do daily soaps
Even today?
even today, because it's like 18 hours of your day
Yeah.
and 30 days in a month or 20 days in a
Yeah.
month. How much time will that leave me for my family? How much time will that leave me for
Yeah.
my creative work, my
Yeah.
writing, the direction I want to do?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing.
You know, you mentioned Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, and I'm sure none of your interview ever completes or ends without mention of that film. And you know, it was my first film also. I remember I saw it in Liberty Cinema
Oh, wow.
with my entire family. I read it somewhere that the gentlemen at Rajshri, whenever
Yes.
they cast the heroine for their film,
Yeah.
they make them read something from a
Yes,
book.
yes.
What is that?
Raj Babuji,
Huh.
Surajji's father, is unfortunately no longer with us now here. But he had this habit of, you know, all the heroines or all the people who were playing important roles in any Rajshri films were made to read from a book.
Huh.
It was a novel. It was
Okay.
a Hindi novel,
Huh.
you know, one of those which had those drawn kind of covers and very
Acha.
typical Hindi novel.
Yeah, yeah.
And he used to say, you know, read from any page. You just open a page and just read, because he wanted to hear what is the cadence, how you speak Hindi. So that's something that he, you know, he was a very good judge of the potential of a person.
Yeah.
And he was very interested in people in general.
Acha.
So yeah, so he would observe very carefully while you were reading. You were like really concentrating and
Yeah.
reading, but he was observant of all the nuances, whether you're nervous, whether you're not, and he was an excellent judge of characters. So I think that that was a time for him not just to judge people and how they read,
Yeah.
but also the fact of what is the personality of this girl, and you know, how would she be, because I think Rajshri is an ethos.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The atmosphere on the set needs to be very, very graceful, very warm.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the Raj Babuji would judge people on that score as well.
Yeah.
So luckily I passed.
How was your experience? What did he tell you after you read it?
My goodness, I mean, he said कि आप मराठी होने के बावजूद आप हिंदी बहुत अच्छा पढ़ लेती है. So as in मैंने हिंदी थिएटर किया है, तो उसका तो of course, और सुरभि किया था.
बिल्कुल.
So obviously that had kind of, you know, had very clished Hindi at times, and I was required to say those lines. So I was used to speaking Hindi, but he was very happy, you know, very also happy with the way I was. Of course, he kept saying that you look younger, you know, on screen you look older, but in real life you look very young, and you know.
You still do.
That's good.
You know, as a part of my research for this interview, I saw another interview of yours where you mentioned Raj Babu, and you said that when you met him for Hum Aapke Hain Kaun, he said that if you ever have an ambition to become a heroine,
Yeah.
you should not take up this part, because then
Yes.
you will get the similar roles all your life.
Yes, and how kind of him to say that,
Yeah.
because he was casting a complete novice,
Yeah.
like, you know, for such a huge film and such a big role.
Yeah.
And everything was done, like the screen test and everything, and so the approval was there.
Huh.
But he just felt that he needed to tell me that, you know, what is your aim? Like, I mean, आपको actress बनना है, तो what kind of roles would you want in the future? And he was just,
Huh.
you know, chatting with me, and I said, no, I'm very interested in doing good work with good people.
Huh.
That was my answer. And he said, नहीं, पर heroine बनना है आपको, क्या कैसे बनना है? I said, नहीं, ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. I just want to play somebody who has some character, something to do in
Yeah.
the film, and I want to work with good people. So then he said कि you know, क्योंकि ये जो role है, ये देखा जाए तो second lead, हाँ?
हाँ.
very clearly.
Yeah.
तो हमारी इंडस्ट्री में स्टीरियोटाइप होता है कि अगर आपने किसी एक फिल्म में सेकंड लीड प्ले किया तो फिर आपको फिर वो हीरोइन के रोल्स नहीं ऑफर होते, और इसके बाद फिर लोग कहेंगे कि किसी की बहन, किसी की भाभी, किसी की माँ, इस तरह के रोल्स आपको ऑफर किए जाएंगे. तो अगर if you want to do something which is more than this, then you can think twice about taking up this offer.
What a nice gesture to
And
do.
I tell you, it just, I was just blown by that gesture, and I literally had tears in my eyes. I said, "नहीं नहीं Raj Babu ji, ये मेरे लिए it's like a dream role for me, a dream production house to be in." So I said, "There's no way I'm going to say no, and if it's offered, then it's offered. It's okay. If there are good, bhabhi roles, if there are good behan roles, I'll play them."
Yeah. But ma'am, at that young age, what gives you the confidence to say yes to that role? Simply because we are all ambitious at that age. No, we want to
Yeah.
do so much. And there is a scare of getting stereotyped. वो confidence
Yeah,
क्या था कि हो
actually,
जाएगा?
I didn't know the industry at all.
अच्छा.
मुझे तो पता ही नहीं था कि something. This was the first time I heard from Raj Babu ji that you will get stereotyped. So I didn't know the workings of the industry at all. I came from a space of amateur theatre where there is a different set of people doing, experimental theatre, amateur theatre, and there is a different set of people doing absolute commercial stuff at that time.
Yeah.
There was a clear distinction. Now, of course, the lines are
Blurred.
completely blurred, but at that point in time, so there was no way that I would know. I didn't have any industry associations from my house or nothing like that. So for me, it was a new world completely. So I was just going with blind faith that, and imagine this film working so much.
Yeah. Oh.
I
my
mean, what a
God.
huge blessing that is.
Yeah.
I don't care if I'm stereotyped for the next 100 years. But thank God for Hum Aapke Hain Kaun,
Yeah.
So that was when my journey in the industry actually started after Hum Aapke Hain Kaun. And as Raj Babu ji very rightly said, I was offered a lot of Behan, Bhabhi roles, which I didn't take up because I felt that Pooja Chaudhary in Hum Aapke Hain Kaun had a lot to do. While those Bhabhis and those sisters were just somebody's sister, somebody's Bhabhi, there was no character.
What were these roles like?
Like, हाँ बहन, हीरो की बहन है, बहुत crucial है because she gets raped and then he kind of takes revenge. So it's a crucial role. But it's
They offered films like that.
Yeah, regularly. Because the good sister is somebody, or the good mother is will give the hero that revenge ka, that impetus to take revenge. So those were the kind of offers. So that's exactly why I did so much television, because what amazing roles I got to play on television.
Yeah.
So why would I look at films?
Yeah. Surbi, Sailab, Circus, so many.
Yeah,
of them.
so many. 9 Malabar Hill, the variety that I was offered as a main lead was just tremendous.
So that satisfied the artist in
Completely.
Sure. But when you reject so many roles in films also, ma'am, what happens is अपने इंडस्ट्री का एक बहुत पॉपुलर फ्रेज है, आउट ऑफ साइट इज आउट ऑफ माइंड. Did that worry you कि यार मैं बहुत मना करूंगी तो कुछ लोग शायद एक रूडनेस की तरह भी देख लेते?
नहीं, वो रूडनेस की तरह तो देखते हैं. Some people used to think at that time that I'm very snobbish because I would say no to them. How could you say no to such a big producer or such a big director? And I'm like, I'm saying no to this character. This character doesn't suit me, or this setup doesn't suit me. So what do I do? And at that time, there was no time also, because once I started working on television, then again, I sometimes I used to do 3 or 4 serials at a time, which kept me busy through the month. Even though they were weeklies, they were like 10 days per serial I had to allot, and then that was the end of the month.
But I want to tell you, today morning when I got ready for a change, I wore kurta pajama. So my father was like, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'm going to interview Renuka Shah." So he said, "Surbi." So people from that time still remember you as.
In fact, a lot of people call me Surabhi.
Wow.
And I'll tell you a very interesting story. There's this actress called Surabhi Javeri, who's also an actress. And she and I were part of the Telugu film Money 2.
Yes.
I had done Money 1. And then the sequel to that was Money 2, in which she joined the cast.
This is the Ram Gopal Verma.
Yeah. So this Money 2 was directed by Krishna Vamshi. And it had the same cast except Surabhi was an addition. So we were both staying in this guest house in Hyderabad where they had put us up. And whenever she would get a call from home, they would call me, "Ye Surabhi ka phone hai."
Wow.
They refused to think that I'm not Surabhi.
Uh-huh.
For them, I was Surabhi.
Yeah.
So I used to always take her calls and then go and call her. That was the time of landline. So of
Acha.
course we had to go down to receive the calls.
But that's such a validation of your work. Na?
Yeah,
that
it
people
is,
really
it
connect
is.
you with.
Yeah,
that
people used to
sense.
get Surabhi haircuts done and all, I remember.
Yeah.
So I still get a lot of things on social media about people who were named Surabhi
That's
after the
amazing.
show and
Yeah.
who used to
The
get
short
that
hair,
cut
yeah,
short
yeah,
hair.
yeah, yeah. Our business is for years been called male dominated.
Hmm.
Do you think it has changed in the last
It has
few
changed
years?
incredibly, and the television industry has at least become aware of the fact that there should be gender parity, pay parity. Situations at the workplace are much more sensitive towards the needs of women, which would never happen. Like, I mean, women do need certain things at certain points in time, like which men, which is not, which is sad actually, because I think, like, let me just give you an example of Lose. So when we were doing, films in the 90s, there was no separate loo for women. That was not looked after at all. And that's so important.
Of course.
Yeah. Like,
is
I mean, the whole
basic.
day, women would not drink water because in an outdoor or on a set, what do you say? You don't want to go to the loos because they're so dirty. All of us have gone there. Even Madhuri Dixit has gone through it. And just people just took it for granted. Sahanshilta, not to make too much noise. Just carry on, work, be professional.
Acha.
And for males, it's unfortunate, but males can go anywhere and,
Correct.
take a leak.
Yeah,
Women
yeah.
can't do that.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. Now, sensitivity not just to the physical needs of people, but also any sort of harassment or bullying.
Yeah.
That is brought into focus today. So everywhere, there are respect trainings happen, especially for OTTs, and
Yeah.
everybody is very aware that you can anonymously kind of talk against any head of department if they bully you
Yeah,
or
yeah,
if they are,
yeah.
sexually harassing
Yeah.
you. And so these things are important, and they are, people are being made aware of them.
There are intimacy directors also on
There
the
are
sets.
intimacy directors, and it's very important because usually on a set you will find, not so much now, but definitely there are more males than females. And if you are doing an intimate scene and nobody else will understand what you're going through.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes co-actors don't get along very well and yet they have to do
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah.
Then if you have a co-actor who's good with you, or your rapport is good, then
Yeah.
you can tell the person that, listen, I'm uncomfortable with
Correct.
this, like, let's do it this way. But if that doesn't happen, then what happens?
Yeah.
And there are so many stories of women having to
Yeah.
suffer through a lot,
Yeah,
on the set,
Yeah.
under the guise of professionalism.
You've raised your opinion also on that.
Yes,
when
of
you-
course, and it's important that one should voice it. I also, as an actor, or if I'm behind the camera, I make it a point to see to it that all the people, I'm, not just saying that men should be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
No way. Everybody should be comfortable.
Yeah.
Everybody should feel respected
Yeah.
on my set. Nobody should be demeaned just because of their status on the set or their gender or nothing like that.
Yeah.
There is no need to raise your voice at each other.
Yeah.
We are all part of the creative process,
Yeah.
and each and every person is important to the final product.
Yeah. You mentioned awareness in the beginning of this answer, but I want to ask you, is awareness important or enough?
I think awareness is the first step,
Hmm.
because if you're not aware of what inclusion is, let's say,
Yeah.
then you're not going to think of any problem as a problem
Yeah.
if it does occur on your set. So I think that awareness is the first step, and then of course to execute is what the final step should be.
Yeah.
And it should be brought into each and every set, So whether it's LGBTQ rights,
Correct.
or women rights, or men rights,
Yeah.
all the rights,
Correct.
basically.
Yeah,
you know.
everyone's rights.
All the wrongs should go.
Sure. But we did go through that time, ma'am, in 2018 again, when the Me Too movement was out there and people were talking about it and it was so much written. But do you think something has changed after that? एक चीज मैंने notice की, एक डर है उसके बाद.
Done also because I think all our unions are very active about that. If there's any complaint of any sort, it's taken seriously.
Yeah.
It's heard. There are some unions, ICCs, which are like very incestuous, and then nothing comes out of it. But the point is that at least, like for example, in CINTA, we are very particular about it. We know, that if there is any problem that we are going to face, CINTA will stand by us. They'll also help in terms of, lawyer allotment. These are things that we don't know.
Yeah.
So that's something where the association helps out, and our committee has really been very active about it. So that's really great to see.
Yeah.
And even if you want to file an FIR, which I feel that if you are, really at the other end of, a molestation or something like that, which is a very, very serious thing, then you should go and, go ahead and file an FIR.
Yeah.
Because till then it's just, kind of saying something and not backing it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that facing the law is a very, very scary thing. It's
Yeah.
very scary
Yeah.
because it's long drawn out.
Correct.
And sometimes, you're not that rich that you can afford
Correct.
the whole process. But I just feel that if it's a very, very serious charge, which is not something that can be handled by any just union, making two people sit and getting their versions of it and getting a sorry, if that's not what you want, and if it's a serious charge, then an FIR is a must. Otherwise, there are so many cases which people talked of but refuse to file
Correct.
cases. So then, where does that leave the man as well as the victim?
It also raises trust issues.
Exactly, because you never know, na?
Correct.
And there are so many people who misuse
Absolutely.
the power that they have.
Yeah.
you know.
Absolutely.
Not everybody or not all women are, good women, and not all men are good men.
Correct.
So sometimes innocent men are incarcerated for no rhyme or reason.
Yeah.
And sometimes innocent women don't have the voice to even say what they've gone through, even today.
Yeah. When you spoke about that time, did anyone come and say, "Mat bolo"?
Arey, many people. In fact, mat bolo is something that I think women are told that so often from childhood.
That's
Mat
true.
bolo.
That's true.
So I feel that catharsis is necessary. That thing, the Me Too, was very important because it was, if not anything else, that collective feeling of catharsis that a lot of women went through for what they had gone through, maybe 10 years, 25 years. Like people say ki, why after 25 years? Arey, aap bolne kab dete ho?
Yeah.
Small level say, whenever, even if you approach for certain things within the family, the maximum abuse happens in family, within families. And if a child, whether boy or girl, tells the parents, how many parents are willing to give up on their elders or family relationships?
I agree.
On the basis of what the child has said.
Yeah.
So I think it starts from there. You are made to feel guilty about something that you have no business feeling guilty about.
Correct.
The perpetrator has to feel guilty.
Yeah.
The perpetrator has to be, kind of socially ostracized for what they have done to, children.
Yeah.
But children are made to feel guilty. So ye mat bolo, sweep it under the carpet. You're fine na, nothing has happened to you na, you look okay. And
that person is mentally destroyed.
Exactly. You are scarred. You are scarred so badly that it actually affects your trust. It affects your relationships for such a long time. And apne yahan to we are not even used to speaking to psychologists. So that's also not part of our culture. So where do you speak out? So then it's all, kept internally. That anger builds up.
Yeah.
That nobody is there to listen to you, your truth.
Yeah. Also, therapy is not cheap.
No, it's not.
It's expensive.
Cheap. It's not cheap.
It's very, very expensive. Did you lose out on work for voicing your opinion?
I wouldn't know. Nobody came up to me and said, "Oh, we wanted to cast you, but you're too, you're too outspoken." Nobody has actually told me that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that with the kind of opinions I have and people know about them, there are certain people who might not want to work with me, and it's fair enough. Like, yeah, if everybody wants a sort of happy unit. And people do get uncomfortable, especially if women are intelligent or question, too much. Even you'll be surprised to know that even on supposedly gender equal sets, sometimes a woman actor who's kind of just asking simple questions about the character is looked on upon कि बहुत सवाल पूछती है.
Oh.
But if the man is asking the question, अरे कितना committed है ना, he's asking so many questions, he's like really driven. People judge women much more, in the negative way as compared to women with a voice are judged like badi difficult hai, like you never know what she'll say. Arey, deal with it.
Yeah.
Like, aren't you capable
Correct.
of dealing with it?
Yeah.
Come on.
Absolutely. Does the marketing term, and I call this a marketing term, female director irk you?
I think so. And I think this category of female director, male director, actor I can understand. See, I think Film Companion did a survey, some survey about the percentage of women behind the camera in the industry. And even today we have such dismal numbers, I tell you, all over India. So I think there's a long road.
Yeah.
But it's opening up, and the situation I think all over is very heartening.
Yeah.
I think women themselves feel the need to be,
Yeah.
the voice that they want to be.
And that's the reason of this conversation also, ma'am, because I really strongly believe the more we speak about this, the more we make it normal to not use the word female director and just a director, the more
I would agree.
accepting it would become in the
Yes.
daily life.
Absolutely, I agree with you. I think that we should like a DOP.
Yeah.
It's not a female DOP.
Correct.
So why should a director be a female
Correct.
director?
Correct. Absolutely. I really strongly believe when you grow up, a lot of experiences in your childhood makes the person that you are.
Yeah.
You saw that your parents separated at a very early age.
Yeah.
Did that impact your impression of love, romance, and marriage?
Oh yes, it did, definitely. Because in the beginning I was such a people pleaser because of that. Because people would judge me for the things that they were not in my hand. Like, they would judge me because my parents were separated. Ki inke saath mat khelo, because they come from a broken home. Even teachers, they were so nasty. The scene that you see in Tribhanga, where that girl is asked particularly pointed questions about her mother and surname, happened to me. People feel it's something of an exaggeration, but it's not.
Oh.
And those experiences that you face as a child do definitely color your outlook. So in the beginning, I became a people pleaser because I wanted everybody to like me, please. And then later, one became more and more confident as a person. And I think a lot of that had to do with my college. I think St. Xavier's College I went to, and I did my entire psycho there. And that was a time, the teachers there, everybody influenced me to have, to love myself, to have that self-confidence.
Yeah.
And that has really helped my vision, after my BA completed. So that confidence I carried only after college. I was a very diffident person, actually.
Did that impact the first marriage also?
Yes, of course. Because one wants it to work also, and one wanted to get married early also for that same reason. And it didn't work, and we were two very nice individuals. But unfortunately, as husband and wife, it did not work out. So the best possible thing to do is to part amicably and to look at it as an experience that one has learned from. And I think that I have gained immensely from that experience.
Yeah.
Because, after a very long gap when I fell in love with Rana ji. And so my picture of marriage was definitely not rosy. So it was much more realistic. I was, able to handle a lot of ups and downs much more easily. And also because I was mature by then. I was, by the time I got married, I was 34 or 35. So that's a,
Yeah.
quite an age to get married in India.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What is the foundation of your and Ashu sir's marriage?
I think friendship.
Hmm.
So we are really, I mean, there are times when we get on each other's nerves as a husband and wife. Yeah,
Everybody,
literally every
yeah.
marriage you go through. And but it's our friendship, you know. We can
Yeah.
kind of turn around and look at ourselves objectively from a perspective of being friends and say how silly we are as husband and wife.
Yeah.
And let's, you know, forget about this little tiff or whatever.
Amazing.
And this disagreement. And it's so good. It's so
Yeah.
cool to
Yeah.
be, you know, that way with each other.
Is he a feminist?
Yes, he is. He is. And he is surrounded by extremely strong women. Yes, they are from a more traditional way of life as compared to my family. But, you know, there's such a lot of respect.
Yeah.
So that's the foundation, right? I mean, if you have certain values and you're just saying those very gender equal values and then you treat your mother badly, there's no point in that.
I agree. Yeah.
So, in the real way, I think my married family has a lot of respect for our opinions. They count. It's not just the men decide and then, you know, all the women follow.
Yeah.
So I think that was very essential. Otherwise, it would be difficult for me to even fall in love with a man like that.
Did you enjoy Pathan? I saw it first day,
Yes,
first show.
I enjoyed it. CT, Maro, popcorn, khao.
I loved it.
It was lovely. It was
Yeah.
really lovely. And actually, I mean, because I had already seen celebrations in the theatre and stuff, I just felt that this is the kind of cinema that I have grown up seeing and, you know, being
Yeah.
part of. So,
Correct.
yeah, so that was an experience which I felt again connected to. And of course, to see Shah Rukh after so long on screen, you know,
Yes.
after 4 years, I think after Zero.
Yeah.
So that was also good. Deepika, John, everybody was so good
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
film.
yeah.
Dimple Ji, my goodness,
yeah.
I'm such a huge fan of hers.
Yeah.
And of course Rana Ji. So all in all, it was a complete, you know, entertainer.
Yeah, yeah. How did you react on the Shah Rukh's tweet when he said, Rana ji ko pata hai, meri first heroine hai?
I know. You know, I mean, you know, he knows, of course, and like, I mean, that's what I said in the tweet also, ki, you know, in an earlier tweet, he had called Rana ji Antaryami. Like, somebody had asked him in one of his Ask SRKs that, how was it working with Ashutosh Rana? And he said that Rana ji बहुत ज्ञानी है, अंतर्यामी है, and he's such a fine actor and stuff like that. So I responded by saying that, you know, I mean, he's an antaryami, so he would know everything about it. So, but yeah, I'm so pleased for Shah Rukh. I'm pleased for the entire unit, Siddharth Anand and YRF and our industry. I'm pleased for our industry that it has done so well.
Yeah. Much. This was a much needed box office
much
hit.
needed.
You remember your first impression of Mr. Shah Rukh Khan?
Of course, I remember. He was a Delhi boy, very brash. And I was pretty new at that time. So I was like taken aback by his confidence. My goodness.
Yeah.
His confidence. And he's witty,
Yeah.
he's very intelligent. So, of course, that was very good because he's
Yeah.
a great co-actor.
Correct.
I mean, you know, because he comes from theatre, improvising the scene, getting the tone right. And that was always part of the way he worked. And he's so professional. Like, I mean, you ask him to, you know, work for 36 hours at a stretch, he would without, you know, complaining about it.
Yeah.
The other thing which I noticed about him at that time, which I really liked and appreciated, was that he has the greatest respect for every single person on the set. From the spot person to producer.
Wow.
He has a very equal way of looking at people.
So
he communicates with the person.
Yeah.
For him, वो जो औदा है, it doesn't make a difference. All people are people. They are people, and he is very warm. You know, naturally very warm, and with women, he's very, very gracious.
Yeah.
So I think all these are great qualities.
Yeah.
But yeah, we began by Delhi versus Bombay kind of thing.
All of us do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. Last question I want to ask you. And you mentioned it also during the conversation that since times immemorial, women have been told, ye karo, ye mat karo. What would you like to tell those people now?
I would like to tell them that please tell even young boys what they should do.
Keep a balance.
हाँ, मतलब because even in many households I've seen today, they are empowering women. There's no doubt about it, but the sons remain the same. Then it'll still be an unequal society, na?
That's such a fair point.
Yeah. So I feel that if there are sons and daughters in the family, or even if you have just sons, educate them
Yeah.
in these normal things, you know,
Yeah.
which are just in our society. I don't blame them because they're just not made to think in a particular way.
Yeah.
They're given everything on a platter. Usually in our families, they grow up seeing only women working in the kitchens or in the housework or whatever. So they grow up with that feeling of entitlement.
Yeah.
The point is to educate them and say, hey, you know, just take your own responsibility. Learn everything,
Yeah.
whether it's girl or boy. You learn to be independent,
Yeah.
so that if there's nobody else in the world around you, you can still survive. You don't have to depend on other people.
You
And
consciously
it's
put
not
in
your
those
right.
values in your
Yes,
kids?
Of course. But it's a tough thing, huh? Because very often you are completely different from other people who are influencing them. So my mom and I bravely sort of keep giving them this very important gyan.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And I'm sure they are born to you and Ashu sir. They have a really, they do know what lineage they have to live up to. And I'm sure they
sometimes they do feel the pressure of that, poor things.
Yeah.
Because right now they're both totally aimless. So, you know, whenever people meet them, they keep saying, oh, so now are you going to come into this industry? Are you going to become
हाँ बहुत
actors?
होता होगा ना.
And they're saying, no. They don't even come on our sets. They're not really as curious. They, of course, they're consumers of the industry and anything, all
Yeah.
content on
Yeah.
all sorts of media. But the point is that they are not interested in acting. They are not interested in writing or directing, and so or being a cinematographer. They're not.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So they'll kind of forge their own path.
Yeah.
And it's okay whenever they achieve it. I don't want them to कि अभी तुम 20 साल के हो गए हो तो you must have this aim. There's no must.
Yeah.
Everybody has their own journey and their own milestones.
Correct.
You know, so
People should let be.
yeah, let them be, as long as they are good human beings. I keep inculcating that whatever work you take up, do it with a lot of passion. Do it with 100% commitment. If you're in a relationship, it has to have 100% commitment. So any relationship, with whether it's an object, whether it's a passion project, whether it's anything, you must be all there and be respectful. You have to be respectful to every human being. So that feeling of equality is something that I would like them to carry on. I try my best.
Yeah. I'm sure you do. I'm sure you do. Thank you so much, ma'am. I want to end by saying thank you for being you. It's so rare.
Aww.
And thank you for
That's so nice of you to say.
No, really, and I mean it from all my heart. Thank you for being you, and thank you for being such an inspiration for so many of us for so many years. And please continue doing this forever. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe to Pink Villa.